Sweet.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We'll just give folks a moment to come online here. I see participants coming in. Mark Becker here, founding partner of Cathexis Partners. We're going to get started in just a few seconds. Feel free to put in the in the chat where you're from, and keep the Q&A handy. Feel free to drop in any questions along the way. Those answered, Ernie will answer those towards the end. But let's go ahead and get this kick started. Today we're going to do 10 digital strategies to skyrocket your marketing results this year end. So very timely. I can't believe it's somehow already October, but here we are. Just a little bit about us, Cathexis Partners. Again, I'm the founding partner. Started the company about 14 years ago now. We help organizations find and use technology in a variety of ways, everything from website design to cleaning up data and database management to implementations and support. But enough about us. Let's get to the guest of honor, and Ernie, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Mark. I think like you mentioned, I can't believe, I think I just emailed my team earlier today. I was like, I can't believe we're in Q4 already. That's time flies. But for those of you that don't know, I am Ernie, or Ernad Civic. I'm the director of marketing here at Community Boost. This portion was written by one of our team members, so it's going to be in third person. But I am the director of marketing at Community Boost. Previously with that, I did work with the Facebook area. I was the Facebook area practice manager for more than 5 years, pioneering Facebook services for nonprofits. And I worked with hundreds of organizations and really just finding ways to maximize their return on ad spend and really just scale their impact and growth. So have spent a lot of time with a lot of organizations, potentially where you are here, but also it's been fun kind of growing and finding ways to successfully crush year-end marketing and just overall donations and your impact. So who's Community Boost? If you're not aware, we're a digital marketing agency specifically for nonprofits. We exist to empower social ventures changing the world. We've directly supported and served over 400 plus organizations. We are focused this year to hit our goal of $40 million in donation support. We also have, helped 40,000 plus organizations through our nonprofit marketing summits. So if you haven't attended one of those, I'd highly recommend to attend our nonprofit marketing summits. They're super fun. And it's a 3-day online event where you get to learn pretty much everything. It's really cool. And we have a pretty solid team now, about 60 plus rockstar team members, always looking to support and just, help and crush this for you. So what's on the agenda today? What are we going to talk about? The first thing I want to talk about is the current state of nonprofit marketing. What's going on, where are we headed in 2023, because there's so many changes happening in the world. There was a lot of changes last year and they just continue to happen. They're happening very fast. So let's talk about it a little bit. And then I want to go over the 10 digital strategies to skyrocket your marketing results. Year end is a really big time of the year. It's like the Super Bowl for nonprofits. So I really want to, talk about this and find ways for all of you to succeed today, and some of the things that we're implementing for our clients as well. And regarding the Super Bowl reference, I know it's still early in the season, but go Raiders. I don't know if anyone else is a football fan, but I'm hoping this it's probably not going to be our year, but I'm hoping. Cool. Well, let's jump into it. So the way in which we've been trained to fundraise is designed optimally for a world that is extinct. And what does that mean? So what that means is that a lot of our nonprofit marketing right now is really focused on the fundamentals and developmental growth, but it's not really focused on modern marketing. And we'll touch more on that. So in our last marketing summit, we asked the question to a lot of our organizations and said, what do you struggle with the most when it comes to your digital marketing efforts? And here's what some of them wrote. 45% of the respondents said that their time was their biggest limiting factor. And that's because a lot of times you're wearing multiple hats and trying to figure out a campaign, marketing, hiring, reporting, all the other stuff, meetings, and try to balance all of that. It just becomes impossible. The second piece was budget we identified, right? 23% of respondents said that budget was their limited factor, right? It's limiting their growth because they don't have the budget to run certain things, or when they test certain things, it's expensive. Like Facebook's conversions API when you first start out are really, really high. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can easily overspend that budget and it becomes a problem. And then the other 12% said that education was one of their limiting factors. The lack of tech education was really a big challenge. And to be honest, even for someone that's in the space, it's really difficult because even for me, I jumped into Facebook the other day as an example, and I had one view, the client had another view, and I brought in some support and that person had a different view. So not everything updates at the same time. And when things do update, it happens overnight and no one's aware of it. So then it's just a problem of just learning how to navigate these things. So when we talk about the marketing gap, right, the demands of what is now required for nonprofit growth has fundamentally changed, right? As I mentioned earlier, we're marketing for the world that is extinct. So how do we fix that? In today's world, nonprofit leaders' biggest challenges are now more of a marketing problem than a development problem. Yet most causes are run by leaders that come up through a development, not modern marketing system. What that means is the world that we're marketing to, the people that we're marketing to are operating on a whole different scale and level than what they were doing 10 years ago. But a lot of organizations are still operating on that 10-year past system or process. So how do we change that? How to make an adjustment to it while still maintaining some of the things that do work and we do feel comfortable with, right? So before I dive into all of that, I want to introduce you to someone named Anne, right? Anne is a millennial senior software engineer who in her spare time enjoys volunteering 1 to 2 hours a week with girls who code. Anne works hard and plays hard. She is starting to really earn and has hit her savings goals, invests, and is now really conscious about brands and causes she supports. Wanting to vote for what she believes in almost every purchase, she often is wired and career focused, and she takes PTO and loves to travel and she loves to go places. Especially coming out of the pandemic, Anne wants to travel and she wants to do things. Anne also loves technology. It's a huge part of her life. Anne practically sleeps with her phone, never goes to the bathroom without it. And like most smartphone users, she spends over 5 hours per weekday checking it, and upwards sometimes of 60 times per day, checking her phone and checking her emails, checking her messages. She loves FaceTiming with her close friends, family, documenting stories on Instagram, and lately has been enjoying TikTok, all the fun dances, and is utilizing her DMs, text messaging, and etc. Anne expects web pages to load instantly, forms to be easy. Everything needs to be mobile first, it needs to be comfortable because that's what she is using. And she always thinks to buy online before going in person. She barely checks her direct mail because most of the time is junk. She doesn't answer unknown numbers as they're mostly spam, and is never present and is ever more present to her privacy data. She doesn't want to give away her privacy. So Anne is like a lot of us. In fact, probably most of us. She lives in a very subscription-based world. And I would highly recommend for all of us here today to think about it because we're all in a subscription-based model of some sort, right? I personally belong to Netflix, Hulu, and probably more apps than I should. And I believe most of us here belongs to some sort of a subscription model ourselves. So we already are living in this reality, but sometimes our donors or our organizations are not catching up to that. So how do we make that transition, and why should we do that? So what we're going to talk about is that year-end process. This is like where we can start to kind of make that change and make that adjustment. So the first thing I want to talk about is that 30% of all donations happen between Giving Tuesday and December 31st. Now, why am I mentioning that? One reason is because a lot of organizations, when I've talked to, especially a little smaller organizations, they'll say like, oh, we're not going to be part of the year-end cycle. We just things get lost in a sauce, right? It just overflowed with other nonprofits, larger nonprofits, and etc. But that's not really true because you also have a donor list. You also have engaged audiences on your social media. You have people visiting your website. And this is a great time and a great reason to invite these people to give because it's just a giving season. So it's a really good opportunity to just be part of it. And why? It's because a lot of these donations are going to be happening. So they're going to happen one way or another. So you might as well play your part in it. Something else to note is that donors are 10 times more likely to give on Giving Tuesday than any other day of the year. So having some of your goals planned out or things that you're planning to do in 2023 or potentially even for like December will be a really good time to showcase that and tell the donors that, hey, this is our goal. This is what we want to get to. Would you want to support us on Giving Tuesday so we can get there? And your chances are probably going to be higher to getting there. Year over year, 42% 3-year increase in online giving. Online giving continues to increase year over year. No matter where and how you look at the data, it continues to improve better and better. So I would highly, highly recommend being part of it. And if it doesn't work, look at the drawing board, right? Look at your strategy, look at your systems, look at the strategies we'll go through today and see which one of those you've implemented and could have they been implemented better? And how can we implement them better? Because there is a lot of opportunity. We just need to identify what that opportunity is for us and for our donors and how they can react to those. So this year is a typical year-end donation pattern. And ideally, I feel a lot of organizations probably experience this, right? It's like this, it's like this U pattern essentially, right? There's this initial excitement that usually begins around, let's say, Giving Tuesday or around year end. So you have all these organizations looking to give, or all these organizations excited to be part of it, and all these donors looking to give. They are here, they're excited because so many reasons. Halloween is here, it's a good time of the month. November comes, being thankful, and Thanksgiving's happening. December's there, Santa Claus is in town. There's a lot of reasons why people also feel happy. So there's a lot of excitement to give. Then you have this inevitable trough where that stuff kind of ends. And then the new year starts to begin, and people then kind of slow down, right? They don't want to give the donations, the recurring donations probably are slow, and there's just a little pause. And then what happens is, from the beginning of the year till probably September again, you have this slow time, and then it starts to rise again as we get back into year end, right? Or for you, if you don't participate in year end, but you have your anniversary or whatever, we have a similar approach still. You have your exciting time, slow time, and it goes back to exciting when you have an event or something important that's happening. But this is typically how it works. So how can you make this better? Well, when you test and invest in strategies that boost your donations, so when you're constantly adding and trying new things and not just sticking to the norm, you're slowly going to increase these things. So here's that same graph with the potential of what it could look like. And again, you can't change seasonal pattern, right? Of things going slow or things going fast, but we can change of how they're being presented in those times. Think of it as like food coloring in a body of water, right? You drop a little droplet of food coloring in the ocean, it doesn't do any damage to it. But if you drop a little food coloring inside of a cup, it changes the color of that water, right? So how can you drop a little bit of food coloring inside of your cup, inside of your niche market, and change that perspective and help increase your donations or boost them little by little? Again, if you try to do just at a giant space once, it's probably not going to work. You're going to go through that big U, and a lot of times you're going to be stuck at the bottom. So the idea is, as there's momentum happening, is to continue running and testing things so that way you can increase that donation and increase that momentum. Now, that's just going to bring you a little bit higher when you get into that inevitable trough. When things feel slow, they're going to feel slow, but at least at this point, you're driving a little bit more in donation revenue, right? And fundraisers potential, or you're putting on a different event because you tested something else looks better, or there's more recurring donations being given. And then as you start to spike back up for your event, or year end is coming back up again, you're able to drive more donations, drive more impact. And year after year, as you're doing this and testing this continues to increase. And then your goals of what you're trying to accomplish increases as well. And when you look back, you've not only learned a lot, but you've also identified some of the real key missing pieces to your puzzle to drive the most impactful year-end fundraising strategy. So this is Community Boost year-end campaign phase. This is how we run our year-end. There's a lot of steps here, but you'll kind of identify that it's really all tailored towards the donor. And one thing I want to mention really quickly here is that sometimes we hear organizations say that they have their donors. Those are my donors, and I'm expecting them to give. Big mistake. Don't think that you have donors. You don't, right? Even though those individuals have been a part of your organization, have donated year after year, month after month, it doesn't mean that they're your donors. They can move and give to someone else at any given time. So think about it, right? So if that is the case, that they can leave at any time, they can have a change of heart, or a similar organization can pop up that's in their hometown, or that shares another story that just resonates better with them, they could easily start to give there. So how do you keep them from doing that? And this is one of the pieces that we want to take care of in our year-end phase strategy. So the first piece is to prepare and analyze. We do this between September and October. This gives us the ability to just analyze our data from previous campaigns, and really, if you ran campaigns, gives you the idea to look through and see what you've done and how that worked. Did we raise any money? How much did we spend? What was our cost per donation? And what can we expect this year? So if for every donation raised, we spent $10, then you kind of identify what your budget should be for this one. If you haven't ran anything, then you want to go through and look at your emails that you sent, look at the fundraisers that you've done, look at the letters, the emails that you sent, whatever the piece of content you sent, look through it and try to identify like the wording, the messaging, the dollar amounts that you asked for, and did they work? And which one of those raised the most? Because that's going to give you an idea of like, okay, we should try to do this now, and then improve it a little bit. So September through October, we ideally like to analyze and figure things out to kind of put a strategy to place. Then we like to pre-wire our gratitude for November. This is huge. Like I just mentioned, your donors are not yours. New people you're targeting are also, they probably don't know you exist. They might love the cause, but they don't know that your organization exists. So what you want to do is then pre-wire, and you want a gratitude. You want to thank them. You want to tell them how appreciative you are of their support and all they've done for you for the year of 2022. This is a really good time to engage those donors, pre-wire new people of who you are, and just talk about your goals and what you're planning on doing for the rest of the year, for 2023, and so forth. This is a really good time because we've noticed this working really well, just running a basic campaign and saying, we cannot, we're speechless. We're so proud to have such amazing donors. And without you, we couldn't have accomplished A, B, and C in 2022. That gives them a feeling of feeling good, right? They feel great. And now you've also kind of planted a seed that without them, this wouldn't be happening. Then you have a full launch on Giving Tuesday. And this is engaging everyone, go to market with a bang. And this is when you're asking. But what's cool here is this is where you get to retarget all of those pre-wire and gratitude individuals. And now the ask is not more of an ask. It's more of like, hey, just continue doing what you're doing. And there's a reason to do it now because it's Giving Tuesday. And this works really well. And we've also noticed our cost per acquisition to get donors and new donors is typically a lot lower when done with a pre-wire or gratitude campaign. Why? Because people just feel appreciated and they're going to want to give. Once Giving Tuesday is done, you want to do an early engagement campaign for December. So here you want to do a strategic rollout of everything planned to just boost that inevitable trough, right? Boost that, like, because there's going to be a little dip there, right? Because it's beginning of the month. December is the biggest giving month, but the first week of it, the first 2 weeks tend to kind of dip a little. So how do we fix that? You drive an engagement campaign that's similar to that pre-wire. And what we do sometimes here is we'll thank our Giving Tuesday donors. We'll thank our Giving Tuesday audiences for the support. Then you have a big finish in December, and this is time sensitive and this is urgency. This is where it's all hands on deck. And it's a strong focus on give, support. We want to, we're going to accomplish A, B, and C in 2023. Without your support, we can't get there. Like, do what you can. Every dollar counts. Donations are doubled, matched, etc. This is where you want to share all those really strong messaging and get that big finish. But what's cool about this is now by the time you're doing this in December, you are retargeting a lot of audiences here. You have your pre-wire, you have your full launch audience, and you have your engaged audience. And you have a lot more audience to work out of, not just focusing on your list. Once December is done, we then like to do our follow-up and stewardship. This is, again, back to gratitude, back to thanking everyone that supported you throughout year end and showing your appreciation for them. This leads you into a reoccurring giving push in February. And this goes through February through March. And what you could do here is, you thank them, you appreciate them, you run this campaign. And what's really cool, we notice, is a lot of donations continue to happen in January because of a follow-up and a stewardship campaign going live. It's crazy how it works, but it's amazing. And that's just because we all want to feel appreciated, and we want to know that our dollar given is going somewhere amazing, and it's going to that cause that we're truly passionate about. And you have the opportunity to really share that this time. From there, you go right into that recurring giving and you push that subscription idea. And that's how we grow. And that's the campaign phase that we run through year after year with, 400 plus organizations, and we see it working every year, and it works tremendously well. And I really hope that everyone can kind of, we can dive further into this in the Q&A, but this is the idea of how to structurally push it. And if you have any questions, please continue to post, add those here. But there's a lot here, I know, but we can dive much further into it and, strategize a little bit more. So if you don't have a year-end marketing template for your calendar, I would highly recommend scan that QR code, get your phone out and go ahead and scan that. But this is going to help you kind of map out what you should be doing and how you should follow year-end, and ideally what we're doing for all of our partners. So if you don't have that yet, please get the year-end marketing calendar template. This will help keep you in structure and kind of in shape of like what you should be doing and following and executing. It's going to be super helpful as the next 2 weeks. After the next 2 weeks, we're pretty much rolling. This is it. So get it so we can get started. Cool. Well, based off of all of that, I hope that was pretty clear as far as where marketing is going, how it operates, and how you should be operating it. Like, think about Anne. Like, how do we create a campaign for someone like Anne? We are all on our cell phones. We all are subscribed to something. And the world that we're living in is very digital and very mobile. So think about that and think how that could be placed into that year-end marketing phase to really crush this year-end. Because honestly, when iPhones dropped their iOS 15 update, about 99% of privacy data was adjusted on Facebook. That tells you that almost everybody in the space was using an iPhone or some sort of iOS device, or they had some sort of data on an iOS device, even if they did not have an iPhone. So something to really think about and how digital this world is. It's pretty crazy. So before we dive into our 10 digital strategies to crush this year end, I want to talk about foundational strategy. So this is all going to work, but it's going to work with you having a clear understanding of what it means to diversify your marketing. Being omni-channel is important, right? According to the 2022 Nonprofit Accelerator Report, a wide selection of marketing channels is directly linked to an increase in revenue. You want to have a wide selection. This is important. Why? Because email works, but email only works to a certain extent, right? So just let's think we have a scale from 1 to 10. Email can cover the first, from 1 to 3. Then from 3 to 5, it could be social media, just organic posting. Then from 5 to 7 could be paid ads. Then from 7 to 8 could be a Google ad grant. And then from 8 to 10 could be your paid digital. So that's how that kind of works. You never want to put all of your eggs in one basket, because honestly, that doesn't work anymore. And the world is so digital now, you can track progress of everything, and you can try so many different digital channels to identify the ones that work for you, to then only focus on those. But too often we see organizations just focusing on email marketing, and they're just focused on getting, $10,000, $20,000 is our goal to get, and we'll just do a huge email blast. And it just doesn't work, because not everyone opens their email, right? But everyone's on Facebook or Instagram. So it's like, if you diversify the two, it might work. It'd just be worth trying out. But one thing I want to say is your foundational strategy needs diversification. You definitely want to have more than one basket, so you can kind of spread those eggs out to see if it's going to work. So the first thing I want to talk about, and this is probably going to be, I'd say, the most important piece before you utilize any of this, and this is what we do at Community Boost, we ensure that we do this, is we set up a strong analytical foundation. As mentioned, all advertising is going digital. All digital is measurable, which is huge. Therefore, all advertising is performance. So you can identify exactly where your dollar goes when you're marketing on a digital space. So you can see what you're achieving and what you're not achieving based off of your analytical data. So if you don't have your analytics foundation set up yet, I would highly recommend getting your Google Analytics set up, Google Tag Manager added, and then if you have Facebook, you're running ads, getting your Facebook pixel set up. Those are the 3 basics that I would start with. And then from there, you can kind of dive further into it. If you need any additional support from it, there is a QR code right there where you can watch a video on our accelerator where you can kind of learn exactly how to implement those things. But this is foundational, really important to kind of get it set up and get you started. Once that's going, once you have that set up, the next step is going to be going over to Google Analytics 4. Google is sunsetting Universal Analytics, which is what we've all been using, and then pushing all users to GA4. Honestly, it is the same thing as Google Analytics, the UA, but it is just an upgraded version to ensure that all the privacy data stays updated as it was previously. Google Analytics 4 does create some additional tracking and benefits, but overall, this is just a new format, and you'd have to switch this over eventually, which likely like in 2023, all accounts should be on GA4. But then this is going to allow you to accurately track your conversion value and accurately know if your marketing is working. When you send out an email, did it drive donations and how many? When you run ads, did those ads work? Did they bring in donations? But more specifically, which ad worked? Which donor audience performed the best? Was it our list? Was it a new audience? Was it a lookalike? There's so many things. If you're using a Google Ad Grant, it also can tell you, hey, how many people am I driving with my my free $10,000 a month? Like, are we driving a lot of people to our website, and are they converting to donors? It's really good, strong information to have because it'll help you build your strategy for year end. Last piece is going to be your offline conversion or CAPI. Offline conversion, this just helps alleviate some of the pressure and some of the data drop off that's occurred with iOS 15 update, where a lot of user data was gone, meaning that when someone was on Facebook, they clicked on an ad and donated, that data you couldn't see in your reporting. Offline conversions make that possible when you install it, because what it does, it's server to server tracking versus third-party cookie tracking. So it allows you to most accurately measure your ROI and provides ways to optimize your ads a little bit better. So it gives you more data and more insight. Same thing, we can help, show you how to set up. We have videos on it and things like that. But ideally, getting these things set up will help you and will help create, a pretty cool little script of what's working and what's not in your current and existing digital marketing strategy. Second piece is update your donation software now. So if you're a newer org and you don't have a donation page or a donation platform, I would highly encourage you to do this. We're stepping into a world where you have to pay to play, and it's just getting that way, unfortunately. And if you have a donor who does not have a really great experience when they go to a donation page, chances are they're not going to give, because they're going to feel that it's not secure, it may not go to the right place, or they might just feel they may get scammed and they won't give. Think about your day-to-day experience when you go and buy things online, and the times that you felt uneasy about purchasing a product because the page itself just didn't look very comfortable. It's really important to think about your day-to-day and then present that, to what your donors would see. So I would highly recommend updating your donation platform if you're not using one, and using some donation platforms like, you have Fundraise Up, which is an amazing platform, which is what you're seeing here on the screen. You also have Classy, you have Fundraise, you have so many different ones, and a lot of these are free. So I highly recommend taking a look at this, because again, a poor donor giving experience can occur very easily when a donor goes to give on your page and it's like a random PayPal, exit link. That can drive some problems for you. So I would highly recommend updating your donation software as as one of the key things to implement. Number 3 is focus on driving recurring giving. This is huge. We talked about it earlier, right? We live in a subscription-based world. I would highly recommend to think through what are the existing marketing tactics that you're using to focus and drive recurring giving, right? To create those donors, a subscription-based donor type experience. A recurring a donor is worth 5 times more than a one-time donor. So maybe during this year end, instead of asking for $100 donation, you could ask for a $25 donation with recurring giving, right? I think there's ways to leverage that because it works much better in your favor. And this is a time to test it because all the eyes are on Giving Tuesday, all the eyes are on year end. People are more likely to give nowadays because of that we're in year end. So it's a great time to test this thing and focus on trying to increase in that recurring giving for you. Next piece, I think adding is a create a best-in-class recurring gift community. This can help you drive more recurring gift acquisition and retention by creating a meaningful, engaged community. Community is everything going to 2023. You want to create a community. You want to have a place where you kind of can talk and really engage with your users. I know Facebook, right? Meta, it's there, people on your page, but are they engaging? Like, are you posting very engaging things or are you just sharing just random, updates? Like see what your followers are engaging in, and then you do more of that, right? So there's different things that people engage in, and just identifying those and keeping that on a same subject will be super helpful. But by creating that community, you have an evergreen product, meaning you have an online continuously product that's being seen, or you have an online space where all of these donors and engagers are there and they're seeing your organization day by day and they're engaging in it day by day. This provides a great opportunity for you to roll out fundraisers and additional recurring ideas, or tell a friend and things like that, where you can grow your recurring giving because you have that evergreen product, essentially, or that evergreen organization engagement happening. Number 4, highly recommend video. Modern video wins. To be honest, if you have not ran any videos and your organization is constantly just using pictures or words on Instagram or Facebook, I would just say any video works. You can grab your phone and just start recording right here, and that's it. People want to see the human behind the organization. If you think about your everyday experience, like I mentioned earlier, think about how often you see videos, right? When you pop on to your Facebook feed, or you go to YouTube, or you go to Google something, or you're looking to cook a new recipe, are you looking at the video or are you just reading the recipe? Sometimes video helps a lot. So I'd highly recommend, if you're not utilizing it, to just do it. It doesn't have to be great as long as it's a moving image. The biggest thing you could do is honestly just face the camera and just talk about the day, talk about the impact, talk what you just did, and you should be good. You should be good to go. And then slowly you can increase that and make video even better as you start seeing results. Video ads win, and they win big. So really focus on doing that. It works really well. And what's really cool about video, if you utilize digital marketing strategy and you really roll into year end, when people watch your video, you're also able to retarget these people. So you don't have to get lists. You don't have to get their names or any of that stuff. If someone watches your video, you can retarget those people who watched to then go ahead and donate or give or join a fundraiser or join your community. It's really cool. So video not only shares what you're doing and asks, but also is building an audience for you to target later on, which is huge. Number 5, write copy that moves people. This is, I'd say, they're all important, but this is really a really big key thing. You want to learn how to write a copy that's not always just saying donate, 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 or support, right? Because that's being said every day, and sometimes it's just falling on deaf ears. Yes, all impacts are amazing, and we all should be supporting all the things that are happening in the world that we're trying to fix, but unfortunately, as humans, sometimes if we hear the same thing over and over, it's just falling on deaf ears. I have a little one. I say so many times, don't do this, don't do this. And it just keeps happening because I'm saying the same word verbiage. But if I come around, explain it a different way, she hears a little bit different. She hears it better. So think about your donors and think about the message you're sharing about, Giving Tuesday, like support Giving Tuesday, double donations or double match and things like that. Write a copy that tells a story of the individual beneficiary, right? Or write copy that really understands and defines what you're trying to accomplish, but also don't make it long. Ideally here, you want to have a sentence. That's about it. You want to have a strong, impactful sentence because that sentence is going to engage them. If it's too long, they're not going to read it. And if you are running Facebook ads, I just want you all to be aware, the first thing people see is going to be that image or that video. The second thing they're going to see is that call to action, which is that give 50 for $100 impact. And then a third thing they're going to see is the actual wording above. So keeping that to a sentence and very strong and impactful is going to do you justice because they're not going to spend a lot of time reading it. So you want to be able to get, pack that punch right away. And then when it comes to your call to actions, your donations doubled, your gifts are doubled, looking at stuff like that is the way to go versus just saying, give today or give now or donate, donate now or donate. It's hard. People don't hear that word that often. So I would highly recommend A and B testing your different call to actions to identify what works best for your audience. We love using numbers like this one, give 50 for 100 impact. The word give an impact seems really strong for a lot of organizations that we run. So it works. But again, run a lot of these different tests, but just think of ways to write copy and headlines that engage and move people, that make them feel like I need to do this versus what is this? Or there's a lot of content here. I don't know if I can read all of this right now. I don't have the time. And then they leave thinking they'll come back later and then life just gets in their way. So straight to the point, but extremely valuable and something that's moving. Think about it in that way. 6, you want to warm up your audience now. Thinking through our phase that I just shared earlier, this is the time to introduce new individuals, your brand, not on Giving Tuesday. So this is where that pre-wire and that gratitude comes really in play. This is where you want to tell your donors, like, so thankful for all of you, because you don't want to just randomly come out the blue asking them for supporting Giving Tuesday. But this is also a time to target those new potential donors and let them know what you're doing. Let them know how 2022 went. And what's cool on Facebook is you can find people that love your cause or your mission. So now you just have to say, hey, this is what we've accomplished in 2022, and we can't wait to do so much more in 2023. And it's a great way to kind of create that brand awareness and engagement. And then when Giving Tuesday comes, ask for a donation. Don't do it on Giving Tuesday because it will only just drive your cost per acquisition up. And it's really difficult to then bring down when it's, $50, $60 per donation. And again, I know I mentioned this before, but they aren't your donors. So remember, fight for their attention, but fight for their attention as well. Thank them, appreciate them, let them know that their support matters and their support has accomplished A, B, and C this year. So that way, when you ask them again on Giving Tuesday, they know why they're giving. It's really important to do that. And there's so many different ways to keep their attention. And it's just important to continue to do that. Number 7, run gratitude ad campaigns before and after. So we talked about this before, but here's some campaigns or here's some ads that we ran to our donors. You can see here what I was talking about, right? Thank you for helping us bring joy and confidence to children this past year. We couldn't do it without you. This is an ad that goes to our donors. And what's really cool is this ad creates a lot of engagement. People like it, they share it, they comment on it. And all of that is called social engagement, which then becomes a retargetable market during Giving Tuesday. And all of a sudden, these people are more likely to give because they know why they're giving. They felt the impact. They saw our thing. They felt us thanking them. And now they also see what their impact has achieved. So too often we see organizations not doing this. So please, if you're planning on doing it any year end this year, or honestly, just marketing in general, think about running some gratitude and you'll see, I guarantee you'll see different results. Next, I just want to talk about is leveraging your Google ad grants. This is really important. So if you're not doing this, sometimes we do talk to organizations that are not utilizing this, they're not taking advantage of this. Please take advantage of it. $10,000 in free search ads. You can't, it's just, you can't miss this. This is a great way to drive people to your website, let them know about your organization. And again, it's free, $329 a day. You can do a lot with that. It is a way to get consistent traffic with search intent, people specifically searching for your mission and work. And it's a great way to then retarget those users onto like a Facebook campaign, an email campaign, and get them to give, turn into donors, or become, reoccurring givers. If you need help with your ad grant, again, it's a QR code right there. We can show you how to operate your Google ad grant, how to apply for it, and how to get it, and how to keep it active, and how to maximize that spend. But think about it, $120,000 every year in free ad spend to just drive awareness and branding for your organization. That's huge. So please make sure you utilize that. The other ad grant, if you have not heard, it's new, just went on the market recently, but it's the Microsoft ad grant, $3,000 in free Microsoft ad grants for approved nonprofits. Please take advantage of this. Go to the Microsoft website. There's a link, there's a QR code at the bottom left where you can go ahead and apply for it. So go ahead and do that. But this is huge. Bing is a really solid search engine. There's a lot of, I'd say about 40 plus year old demographic on Bing, and it's a really solid crowd. So if you're looking to target a different demographic or a little older demographic as well, this is a great way to utilize it. But it doesn't matter what kind of demographic you're looking to target. Free marketing is amazing marketing, especially when it's digital and it's not costing you any money. I would highly recommend applying and getting yourself the Microsoft ad grant as well. Number 8, test, invest, and scale winning digital ads. This is important. Like I mentioned earlier, it's omni-channel. You have email, SEO, Meta, Google, YouTube, Google Paid. You have so many, Microsoft. You have so many different channels and ads that you're going to be running. It is really, really important to test and try different things. Don't just do the norm. Don't just do the everyday stuff. I can promise you right now that I don't think I've ran the same campaigns ever. And that's because we run a campaign. We follow a pattern. You saw our phase, our year-end phase, but the ads and the campaigns are always going to be different. Why? Because every donor, every market reacts to things differently. What we write in email is completely different than what we put in our ads, right? Our email is very personalized, calling a person, letting them, telling the person who, how happy we are for them and how thankful we are for them and all these different things. And then we really dive into what it means to be part of, Community Boost or an organization for Yearend. And our ads are more personalized, but they're also more kind of straight to the point where we want you to give or we're thanking you. So please, scale and invest in your digital marketing channels and your strategies as a whole. Facebook, like I said, is a great way to do this and great way to keep your year-end audience and momentum going. Google plus YouTube. YouTube is extremely cheap to run, but it does 1 + 1 = 3 when you include the ad grants and paid Google search. Ads are just naturally better and you get more for less. So definitely a good place to utilize that. 9, be bold and creative with your organic social. Too often I do hear this where manager or the board may not let you, be too creative in your social media ventures, but it's really important. 60% of nonprofits are using 4 or more social media channels. If you're not using 4 or more, you want to go ahead and start using them. TikTok's a great way to drive younger crowds about your mission, let them know you exist. But you also have LinkedIn, Instagram. Instagram Reels are an amazing way to drive awareness and branding to your website or your organization because it's shown across the entire Facebook and Instagram platform. Of course, Facebook is another one, Twitter. So please utilize your organic social. Again, don't be afraid to be creative, be fun. Utilize what's trending and learn how to put it towards your organization. Leadership must trust and encourage marketing to be bold and creative, like I mentioned, and then test the things, test things and test things that win. So continue to invest invest time in figuring out ways to set up different campaigns and set up different social channels and different videos. Like I said, just talk into your phone. It doesn't have to be that serious, but just have fun with it. Social media is meant to be fun, and it should work, right? It's going to work if you're having fun. And last but not least, take the time to build influencer partnerships on this, because it does take time, but there's so many people that care about your organization and your mission that they can share your stories. They can share your impact with their friends and leverage that and have them, drive followers and potential donors to your page. And last but not least is increase your email personalization. We talk about this all the time. Don't just send a one fits all email. Learn how to, personalize your emails, identify who you're sending the email to, thank them, appreciate them, call them out by their name, by their job title, their role, whatever it is, but let them know that you know who they are. And then explain away their concerns, essentially, right? And then talk about your potential donation. Don't just write, we're looking to raise X amount, we need your support. Don't do that. Personalize the email like, hey, Bill, thank you for being a donor for X amount of years. So much impact has occurred since then, and a lot of that is because of you. This year, we're looking to do A, B, and C. Go ahead and then break down your goal and what you're trying to accomplish for Giving Tuesday. Don't just go straight into the ask. This is the time to build those automation workflows for those emails. So that way you have automations, your welcome series, your first donor automation when someone first time gives, like, what are you saying to them, right? Do they get an email or do they get nothing? So think about that. Get those donation automations set up for your first time givers. And then of course, for reoccurring donors, if they are giving over and over, please have some sort of automation process for that. So here are your 10 digital strategies to skyrocket your year-end results. Have your foundation, your analytics set up, focus on those reoccurring people, and please, more importantly, update your donation platforms, because it's super important to do that. And then leverage all the free ad spend. I mean, I can't tell you not to do that. I mean, that's just really, really huge. You just need to apply and get access to it, but leverage that. That can give you some of that data that you're looking for in the beginning to help push your organization forward for this year end. And if you have not done so, please, for more questions, reach out to Mark. There's a QR code right there. Or if you want to learn how to run some of this marketing and do some of these things yourself, but you don't want to work with an agency, I personally had the opportunity to work and create this thing called the Nonprofit Accelerator. The QR code is right there, and you get to learn exactly how to access, all these different things, and you'll get to learn how to execute and run your own marketing and take it to the next level. So it's primarily clarity. So please come join the accelerator. It'll be super fun, and we built it for you. But from there, we can jump into some questions.
That's great. Thanks, Ernie, for all that. That's a lot of information. Great
Yeah.
stuff. So the first question comes in, and please feel free to drop your questions into chat or Q&A. Fatma mentions, we're new to this, trying to take off, need all the help I can get. So what kind of advice? Is it the accelerator, or how else can you, what do you suggest how she go about working with you all?
Yeah, for Fatima, I think I would definitely say Acceler would be really amazing. I'd honestly would scan that and come talk. You can talk to me or Eric, who, we're the ones that kind of that you'll get to meet. And yeah, it's designed for new organizations looking to just figure out how to run marketing and figure out what's actually needed. And we're kind of just have a complete blueprint for you. We show you exactly what to do, how to do it, how to implement it. You get to connect with us twice a month via Zoom, and we have to chat and help get your strategies in line and implementation and all that stuff. So think of it as like a cheat to, taking on starting your nonprofit, to operating it, and to executing and to raising donations for it. It's kind of all in one encompassing course.
That's great. No, that's really helpful. Just anything to kind of give people guardrails, right? Little training wheels to get people up and running. Because Google ads, I 100% agree. You need to take advantage of those, but you also have to make sure you stay above a certain level, right? Otherwise, you'll lose the grant. And I'm sure that your team kind of helps people ensure that they're doing the right thing, so that they don't have to go through that granting process, which is pretty painful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and something with the accelerator, we literally have it's about a 5-minute long video where you can literally follow it, step by step, apply while you're watching the video, you apply, you get access to the ad grant. And then we literally have a section on how to keep it active. What are the steps that you need to take? And again, this is all nonprofit related information, because I know how many marketers like myself, especially for a nonprofit space, you Google things and a lot of times it's for profit information, which it's pretty much, it's like I've watched so many videos, spent so much time, and I go into the nonprofit side, I'm like, oh wait, it doesn't work. So, but yeah, getting access to, the Google ad grant, getting access to that free $10,000, even Microsoft getting access to $3,000 is huge. And that's just all you need, honestly, at some points, because that's going to be a free website traffic that you can just retarget for then potential donors. And especially for year end, because this is the time of the year where everyone's kind of being focused on.
That's great. I'm not seeing any new questions at this point. So if anybody does have any questions, feel free to reach out to us after the fact, and we'll be sending out the recording after probably tomorrow. I believe we'll be sending out the recording. So don't hesitate to shout with any questions at all. And thanks again, Ernie, for your time and all that valuable insight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if anyone has questions, feel free to email Mark or myself. But yeah, if anything, feel free to come join us on the accelerator. We'll chat with you there, and we can help answer any additional questions as well.
Have a great day, everyone.